Notice he spent a lot less time on Pocahontas than the other ones, too. It's like he's just... Like, here's a little bit where, oh, the white people are bad, and that's bad. And there wasn't even really a joke there, even. It's interesting, isn't it? Listen, this stream, like, it's a new setup. It's just, everything's chaos, okay? But it's organized. I'm gonna make that a thing, I swear. I am not in a different room. I am turned around. And you know what? I load up my organized chaos, freaking YouTube. And obviously that's where I watch all the chud content. So I get some bangers recommended to me on that, I get some good ones, but I get some bangers recommended to me on that channel. And I loaded up, and immediately I got Matt Walsh, Villains Who Were Right, with a picture. And it's all like Disney villains too. And it's like Scar, the Evil Queen. Isn't the Evil Queen on there twice? Like we have like the Evil Queen, and then God, I can't point it out without doing the auto start. But Evil Queen, then like Evil Queen Under a Spell? Like, what? And then Gaston, of course. Because Gaston was, of course, right. When a girl doesn't like you, what you have to do is just kind of just force yourself into her life and just be a jerk. And when she says, hey, I want to, like, I want to be, like, with, like, I want to be with somebody smarter, be like, fuck you, bitch. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, well, how long? 12 minutes. It's a little long, but, let's see what brilliant film analysis Matt Walsh has to add.
Enemy vessel destroyed!
So we all know that Disney movies these days are hopelessly woke and basically awful in every way.
I'm a narcissist. Weird.
And that's why most people think that.
Well, I would like him to explain what he means by woke, naturally. If you want to talk about four-quadrant filmmaking, we can, but, like, just woke? I don't know what that means.
Back fondly to, like, the old days at Disney. They pine for the classics. I understand that mentality, but the truth is that even older Disney movies have issues. The problem is that in those films, in many cases, the alleged villains are treated, I think, very unfairly. They get a bad rap. In many cases, they are misunderstood, misconstrued.
I only wanted to help!
And
I like this. He's going to make arguments for villains. Which, I mean, it's Matt Walsh, so of course he would. He is a villain. So of course he identifies with these characters. It makes sense.
look, maybe it's just my overabundance of empathy and compassion. It gets me into a lot of trouble sometimes, and maybe that's what allows me to see it this way. But either way, today in this very important video, we're going to talk about Disney villains who were actually right all along. So we'll go through 5 movies. Number 1 is Bambi.
Wake up, we have company.
I'm a little, it's been a while since I've seen Bambi. I think maybe I watched it when my daughter was up, but I don't, what's the villain? The hunter that kills the mom? I'm brain farting. Is there, a real villain to Bambi? As I recall, it was just kind of Adventures in the Forest. I don't recall a villain in Bambi at all. The hunter is the villain? Okay, people are agreeing with me. Okay.
Now, first of all, I've never met a child who actually likes this movie. I don't know anyone my age who liked Bambi growing up. Bambi is one of the weakest films in the Disney canon.
I might kind of agree with him on that one. Bambi is kind of forgettable. Yeah, the hunter is the villain. That's what we can come up with. It's not one we return to. Actually, you know what? Bambi, talk about a movie that's primed for an actual live-action remake. Get a live-action remake and actually get, a director who's interested in telling a good story with Bambi. Because that's what I feel saved the Jungle Book. Jungle Book is like so much better than your average Disney live action remake because Jon Favreau actually had ideas and had fun with the story. Yeah, the skunk is the villain. Yeah, sure, Lucifer.
And yet it's viewed as a classic because it happened to be released in the 40s, although it could have been released last year based on the fact that the villains in this movie are the hunters who shot Bambi's mom.
No hate.
I would like you to explain how the murder of Bambi's mom is right. Matt Walsh? Of course, keep in mind, Matt Walsh is a villain, so he's going to identify with villains for sure.
These careless shooting.
Lars von Trier's Bambi. Yes, Pop Counterculture. That's what I want. Oh, shit.
There you are, fire away. Oh, good shot, boy, good shot.
But they were obviously entirely justified in doing so. First of all, because venison is delicious.
You bet.
Those hunters, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, because it's yummy. Anyways, let's get back. We're only 2 minutes into this fucking Matt Walsh catastrophe where he's going to start praising hunters. It'll be great. I'm sure he's got some really solid, good arguments here.
Made some great venison steaks, maybe some deer jerky out of Bambi's mom, which is a fact that could have brought Bambi some comfort and solace if anyone had explained it to him, but they never did. Second, deer populations are out of control in this country. Like
Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm coming back, and this is his argument. This is his argument. I love it. Bambi, your mom has to die, but it's okay because there are too many of your deer out there. So it's good that your mom is dead. And also her meat will be delicious and will feed the hunters. So it's good that your mom is dead. Fucking oh my god, this is hilarious. Like, Matt Walsh, I want you to explain that to some kid, okay? Explain to some kid that, listen, we're gonna shoot your mom and eat her, but it's okay, because they're fucking delicious. This is fucked up, man. Oh my god. Come on.
They wreak havoc in ecosystems. They cause 1.5 million car crashes a year, including hundreds of fatalities. So deer hunters are performing a service, and yet they've been villainized in a movie that generations of bored children have been forced to watch. Think about this. If Bambi's mom had not been shot and killed, she may have gone on to run into the road one night, causing a family returning home from dinner to veer off into a tree and die. Whole family dead.
Is it? I hope this is Matt Walsh doing comedy, because I will have to say, this is decent comedy. If this is just him, if this is an honest fucking take, what is he doing? This is fucked up.
Think about that. Number 2 is The Lion King. Now, I'm not saying that Scar is the good guy in that film. I'm not justifying what he did. Killing your brother, trying to kill your nephew is inappropriate. I don't condone it.
I think it's worth noting, I guess because it's Disney movies specifically he's covering, but the Lion King story is pretty much Hamlet. So does he support goddamn, what's the name of the king? The uncle in Hamlet. I'm brain farting. But does he support the uncle in Hamlet as well? Does he think the uncle in Hamlet was right? He must. Scar pretty much says the exact same shit. I guess in The Lion King it's more explicit that he kills the father, whereas in Hamlet it's not as clear, but yeah.
Oh, God!
But all I'm saying is that, I think the character deserves a bit more sympathy than he gets. For one thing, his name is Scar. Okay? I don't want to get into the nature versus nurture debate, but when you name your child Scar, you can't complain when he becomes a villain. Especially if we have one kid that you name Mufasa. You got that strong name.
Mufasa. Ooh.
The other one you name Scar.
What'll that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
So what did you expect? Also, I'm not saying that Mufasa deserves to be thrown off a cliff, but there's a fundamental, like, moral dishonesty to Mufasa that I always found deeply true.
Okay, so this is something I've been noticing. They do this in conservative media quite a bit. I mean, notice just recently there was that, we talked about Fandom Mischief, Tucker Carlson talking to Kevin Spacey. But it wasn't like Kevin Spacey normal. It was like Kevin Spacey playing Frank Underwood, because that's not fucking creepy as fuck. But this thing where it's like, we're just gonna do a goofy little comedy skit and it'll be funny. And it's like, okay, that's cute, but what you're doing is normalizing this person who's a fucking monster. That's kind of fucking disgusting. And now, I get that, I think that this video is pretty much set up to be like, hey, you know, here's some goofy, like, because this reason for Scar being a hero is, again, a joke. There's nothing serious here. It strikes me that, like, it's gonna be like quite a few joke ones, and then at the end he'll be like, here's one that is actually, like, serious and should be taken seriously. And it's kind of like one kind of tried to tuck in there around, like, joke ones, because of that way, like, you can be like, oh, I'm not being serious here, but here on this one I'm being serious. I feel like that's what they're doing. They're trying to normalize kind of like bad behavior through jokes. I feel like that's what the angle they've been going through recently. But yeah, this thing where, like, one's named Scars, one named Mufasa. Of course he's a villain. It's like, it's not an argument, man. It's like, if you... Number one, there's, like, zero analysis going on here. And, yeah.
Trouble. And even as a child, the first time I saw it, I even said to my parents, there's a fundamental moral dishonesty in this film, Mom and Dad. I said that to them. And here's why. He eats his own subjects. Okay, 1 minute, they're all celebrating the birth of his son. You know, they're bringing gifts or whatever, they're cheering. And the next, they don't show this in the film, but Mufasa is hunting them down and
I also want to point out the joke's gone dry real fast. Like, you know, I thought it was pretty... You definitely got some chuckles out of me over the Bambi one, but, like, this one, this is just kind of dull. Lame.
Consuming them. And by the way, lions eat their prey alive. That's how lions eat. That's how Mufasa treated his subjects. And then he has the audacity to get all high and mighty towards Scar. Like, you can understand Scar's resentment. And to make matters worse, they acknowledge it in the movie. So Simba asks his dad,
Dad, don't we eat the antelope?
They were just at our baby shower, and now, like, we eat them. And that's kind of not cool. And Mufasa says, well, son, that's okay because it's part of the circle of life.
When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass.
Okay, but that is not the same thing at all. That is not an even trade. So give me a break. And also, your body doesn't even become grass, so that's bullshit to begin with. And I'm not holding it...
I'm not even really watching, because he's not saying anything. Okay, let's see. Okay, Pocahontas. We could actually maybe get to... Let's see. Will he actually say anything of substance during the Pocahontas?
This is an obvious one. The villains in this movie are the evil white Europeans who are portrayed as brutal, greedy barbarians, oppressing the innocent Native Americans who are all kind and generous and so in touch with nature that they can literally talk to the trees.
Child.
Somehow everybody speaks perfect English, including the trees. This is like the noble savage myth put to film. It's also really, we talk about wokeness in Disney films. This was the beginning of Disney's long march into wokeness.
Okay, so are you talking about the influence of Chinese government, or are you talking about actual wokeness? Oof. And I think he's just trying to use that to symbolize, but yeah.
Well, you could argue that march began with the vegetarian propaganda of Bambi, but in any case, the white settlers in reality were courageous and intrepid pioneers, not villains.
We'll build roads and decent houses and...
Our houses are fine.
You think that, only because you don't know any better.
So that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's almost like the John Smith, right? John Smith character was just telling her pretty much propaganda. It might be stuff he believes, but it's not true. That's... It's been a while since I've seen Pocahontas, but I'm pretty sure that's established in the movie as well.
Number 4 is Snow White. Now, this is another case where I'm not so much claiming that the evil queen was wholly justified in her actions. I'm simply suggesting that the situation is a bit more nuanced.
Notice he spent a lot less time on Pocahontas than the other ones, too. It's like he's just... Like, here's a little bit where, oh, the white people are bad, and that's bad. And there wasn't even really a joke there, even. It's interesting, isn't it?
Did Snow White deserve to be poisoned with an apple? No. But does she also bear some responsibility for eating an apple offered to her by a random old woman who showed up at her window laughing maniacally? Yes, absolutely.
All alone, my pet?
She never even asks, like, who the woman is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, this one is obviously a comedy one again. So is all this just a sandwich in that Pocahontas shit? Okay, let's see what he says about Gaston, because that's the one that might also.
Now, we've talked about this before. I consider it to be one of the most important issues that I discuss. It probably deserves to be the subject of its own documentary. Gaston is the quintessential villain who was actually the hero of the story.
Hello, Belle.
Bonjour, Gaston.
And I will insist on this until my dying breath. We're supposed to hate Gaston from the beginning because why? He's manly and in good shape. He eats a lot of eggs.
Well, I mean, he is pretty much your typical example of a toxic male.
Is that his crime? What?
Well, you know, he also doesn't respect Belle's right to not choose him, which seems like something a person should do.
What has he done wrong?
It's not right for a woman to read. Soon she starts getting ideas.
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
And thinking.
They never explain it. And the anti-Gaston propaganda is laid on thick from the very beginning, but even in spite of that, it's clear who the real protagonist is. We see Gaston early in the film.
What a pleasant...
I mean, you want to seriously talk about it. Like, there's actually a interesting dichotomy done between Gaston and the Beast, because the Beast, on the surface, is the villain. He's evil, he's ugly, he's savage, and Gaston's more like proper. He's in shape, he's manly, he's tough, he's the hero. But the fact is, what the movie does is subvert those tropes and make Gaston, and you see Gaston being the villain because he's not happy with Belle saying no to him. He is he's kind of just a piece of shit throughout the whole movie. And the Beast, Beast is a piece of shit at the beginning too. But Beast learns to be better, and Gaston doesn't learn to be better, and that'd be the huge difference between them. Yes. This is this defense of Gaston shit is another key example of right-wingers can't fucking read media to save their lives.
Surprise.
Right? He's dressed to the nines. He visits Belle to propose marriage.
Say you'll marry me.
And he's obviously an advocate of traditional marriage and the nuclear family. He even says that. He makes a pitch for the nuclear family, traditional marriage.
That is too true, Byron. Belle might have Stockholm Syndrome. That's absolutely a thing that might be real.
To Belle, he's explaining.
We'll have 6 or 7.
Dogs?
No, Belle. Strapping boys like me.
He wants to have children. He wants to have a family. It's a very lovely thing. Belle turns him down and pushes him into a mud pit.
Because he's not taking the fucking hint that's not even fucking subtle. She's not into you, bro. You know what you do when someone's not into you? Well, you know what? Here's just a basic rule of thumb. You like somebody, you ask them out. They say no. And you respond by living your best life. Moving on and living your best life. Not badgering them to say yes. Just moving the fuck on. That's it. But Gaston doesn't do that. He badgers her and will not take no for an answer. That's why he's the villain.
Total humiliation. And yet by the end, Gaston is still...
That's a good point, being pinned to a wall, yeah.
still willing to risk his life to rescue this woman who humiliated him from the clutches of a beast. And how did Beauty end up in that situation?
Is that how it plays out? He's saving her life. Is that it? Because oh wow, speaking is hard. It comes off more like hey, this woman is saying no to me. I'm just gonna go there and pretend to be the hero, because he's not.
Situation. Yeah, she initially went to the Beast Castle to save her dad or whatever, I think.
Yes, Archmage, fucking gold. If only the town had banned those books Belle was reading, bitch.
How did you find me?
But she had many opportunities to escape after that point. Like, she could have just walked out. I mean, she was in the prison cell, and then she's invited to dinner. And from that point on, she doesn't go back to the prison cell. So she could have left anytime. Anytime.
Yeah, it's almost like she was liking him.
But she stays because she ends up falling in love with a non-human creature who looks kind of like an evil water buffalo. Keep something in mind. Belle...
Yes, because physical appearance is how you determine good guys and bad guys. Good fun fact.
Didn't know that the Beast was really a human prince. She had no idea about that, okay? That's true. Look up on you can go back and watch the movie. She never is aware of that fact. That was just luck of the draw. So as far as she knew, she was entering into a romantic relationship with a member of another species. Okay, that's a simple fact. Now, of course, poor Gaston, he didn't know about any of this.
And fun fact, if a creature from another species is capable of giving consent and conversing and talking with you, I am fine if you want to go ahead and hook up with them. Consent is the key.
He didn't know that the Beast was really a prince. He didn't know that the woman of his dreams had fallen in love with a giant mutant mountain goat. All he knew from his perspective was that Beauty had been imprisoned by a monster. Her own dad told Gaston that.
Who's got Belle locked in a dungeon?
A beast! A horrible, monstrous beast!
And so he rallies the troops. He marches off to fight for her and save her. This is the villain of the story? The man who ultimately gave his very life for the woman he loved?
The dude who didn't have to die.
Loved? And the monster who kidnapped a young woman is supposed to be the one we're rooting for? That's just wrong. And I won't stand for it.
Well, this is just... There's not even much to this. I've skipped through most of it because it's mostly just a fucking joke. I feel like even a lot of the Gaston stuff, which I felt I'd have to defend a bit more furiously, that's more just a fucking joke anyway. So a lot of this is a joke, and I feel like the only one that wasn't a joke, which was kind of the point of this, is the one that's sandwiched in the middle. Pocahontas. Talking about the heroic white settlers. I think that's the point of this video. Trying to sneak that one in there. I feel like right-wingers are doing this a lot. Like, they're using their lack of media knowledge to really just exploit a lot of people. Which, I mean, I guess that's not new, but they're doing it through this comedy angle now, which is new. I'm not used to this. It's wonky fun.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.
I guess just wailing on woke stuff all the time is pretty lazy too.